everyone. It's 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Thank you for joining us. This is Janet Hill at the Rock Island County Health Department. Today we have with us Nita Ludwig, the Administrator of the Rock Island County Health Department, Ed Rivers, the Director of the Scott County Health Department, Bruce Berger, who is Director of Community and Economic Development for the City of Davenport, and Cecelia Bailey, the Executive Director of the Quad Cities Open Network Hub. Our speakers have prepared statements and they will answer your questions to the best of their abilities. We ask that you direct your question to the person you'd like the answer from in the chat box. And as always, Brooke Barnes of the Scott County Health Department will be the moderator. Nita, please start us off with Rock Island County's numbers. Thanks.
Hi, this is Nita. Today, the Rock Island County Health Department is reporting 20 new COVID-19 cases. One of those is hospitalized, and the others are isolating at home. This brings our total number of cases for Rock Island County to 402, and we now have 9 deaths. Unfortunately, today we are reporting the death of a woman in her 90s.
In Scott County today, 2 additional cases were reported for a total of 218, with 2,211 tests having been performed. 90% of the tests have been negative. We remain at 5 deaths.
Thank you, Ed and Nita. We are very excited to welcome Bruce and Cecelia as well on the call with us today. First, we will be hearing from Cecelia from the Quad Cities Open Network, the Hub. Go ahead, Cecelia.
Thank you to the Quad Cities Health Department for working together to provide consistent guidance and direction to our community and for inviting me today. The Quad Cities Open Network would like to share how households in the Quad Cities area can access emergency funds during the COVID-19 pandemic and how health and human service agencies can tap into these resources to help the families they assist. The Quad Cities Open Network is grateful for the grants received from the Disaster Recovery Fund via the Quad Cities Community Foundation, as well as the Regional Development Authority, the Moline Foundation, the Doris and Victor Day Foundation, and the Rock Island Community Foundation to assist individuals in the Quad Cities with emergent needs due to the COVID-19 pandemic through our Supplemental Emergency Assistance Program. Households are facing a multitude of issues during the COVID-19 pandemic, which makes it difficult to navigate resources available. The Quad Cities Open Network is a network of more than 60 health and human service agencies that are working together to support the well-being of the greater Quad Cities. As such, the QCON is able to act as a hub or a central entity to coordinate the efforts of member agencies who interface with the Quad citizens experiencing significant challenges due to COVID-19. So what can these funds be used for? These are flexible dollars that may be used to address the immediate needs of getting food, medical supplies, care, housing, shelter, and etc. that have become compromised or are at risk due to the pandemic. The funding is for direct assistance or support for individuals in crisis. Our member agencies will work with households to assess and determine their needs. How can individuals and households access the emergency funds? Individuals can access emergency funds through our member agencies. We encourage individuals who already have a connection to a health and human service agency to reach out to that agency if they're experiencing a need. We do have a full list of our members that can be found on our website, qcopennetwork.org, or you can contact us directly at 309-796-6766 or at the opennetworkqc@gmail.com. If an individual does not know where to start, we encourage someone on the Illinois side to start with our member agency Project Now, and they can be reached at 309-793-6391, and they'll be connected to a case manager to kind of manage their needs. And on the Iowa side, we suggest that they reach out to the Community Action of Eastern Iowa at 563-324-3236 or through their website at caeiowa.org. So then how can a non-SEAP member agency become a SEAP member agency so that they can help the people that they serve? They can just reach out to us, Isabel Watts at iwatts@qcopennetwork.org, and we will give them more information. The Quad Cities Open Network is here to connect you to the resources you need. The coordinated effort helps us address needs quickly, efficiently, and maximizes the use of dollars to priority needs.
Thank you very much, Cecelia. Next, we'll hear from Bruce Berger with the City of Davenport. Go ahead, Bruce.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on today. The city, given the crisis, in some circumstances, dollars are set aside for programs that would assist with rehab, you know, in the event of a disaster that's destroyed property and those things. But in this sense, the crisis has caused many Davenport households to likely experience a significant loss of income, which in the case of rental housing, it could threaten their ability to remain in their current home. And so what the City of Davenport approved last week was repurposing up to $1 million in federal home funds. These are dollars that come from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to provide what's called a tenant-based rental assistance program, or TBRA. And we full well know that it will likely be much more expensive. There'll be more need than funds available. But the way the program is structured, there would be up to $1,000 in monthly rent assistance for up to 3 months. So someone could qualify for up to $3,000 in assistance. To qualify, you need to be a Davenport renter in good standing through March 1st, with the idea that COVID crisis is what's caused a significant loss of household income. So if you've lost more than 50% of your income, likely you're filing for unemployment or having your employer verify that reduction in income will be needed to satisfy the HUD requirements. But as long as the property, if you were occupying the property since January 1st of 2020, and we're in good standing as of March 1st, then the only other thing HUD requires us to look at is that your current household income is at or below 60% of median family income. So if you meet those requirements, we're encouraging folks to, you can log on to davenportiowa.com/TBRA for tenant-based rental assistance. You can get more info. You can request an application from that website. We do have applications that can be emailed. We can mail them out to you. We also have a pickup spot in the lobby of the Office of Assisted Housing, which is at the Heritage Building at 501 West 3rd Street. So it's in downtown Davenport. And you can also actually drop off your completed application there. Otherwise, you can email it into us at cped.info@davenportiowa.com, or you can mail it in to the Heritage address, which is the 501 West 3rd. So, and then we're going to start reviewing applications Friday this week, May 1st. And so funding will be obligated on a first come, first served basis. And we do anticipate there to be a lot of interest in it. As I mentioned, there's quite a bit of needs. So I think that's all I have. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have a phone number, 563-888-3424 is the number that you can dial to get program info and to request an application if you don't have access to any of the website information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cecelia and Bruce. We really appreciate this information that you're providing us, and to the members of the media on the call, we do appreciate your assistance in providing this information to the community, as we know that there's some great needs out there right now. We do encourage you to put any questions that you have into the chat, and we will begin there. And it does look like, Bruce, if you can share this information with us, we can include it in the press release that we have at the end here. So we would encourage that if you're able to. We do have a question here. Any idea of how many Davenport renters, percentage or number-wise, who would be eligible for rental assistance? Do you have an idea for that, Bruce?
We don't have an idea of the percentage of renters that might be eligible. We do know that we set the dollar amount in terms of rent assistance fairly high to account for as many renters as we could. So I think roughly 91% of all renters, at least according to the census, tend to have rents at or below that level. So we're hopeful that we're at least hitting the majority of folks.
Thank you. Next question for Cecelia. Is the QCon affiliated with United Way?
So the answer is yes. Carrie Abbott from the IUA does sit on the board for QCon, and we have received some United Way funding.
We are hearing parks in the area are closed due to concerns about how to clean them up for public use. Can you address this? I don't know, Bruce, do you have anything, any connections to the public parks, or do you think this is more of a public health issue at this point? Are you working with the parks in Davenport?
The city parks director, I haven't chatted with recently, so I probably shouldn't answer on it. I know they're monitoring daily on that, but yeah, I don't want to speak for our parks director right now.
Okay, thank you very much, and we can connect you with them afterwards. Bruce, could you repeat the phone number that you shared one more time, and we'll type it into the chat?
Sure, I was honestly just trying to type that in when I was answering your last question, so I apologize. But it is 563-888-3424. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Nita in Rock Island County, can you reconfirm the number of deaths? Yesterday, the number stood at 9. If you could just do that for the entire group, we'd appreciate it.
Sure, no problem. I made a mistake earlier, so we had reported that death yesterday. There are still a total of 9 deaths in Rock Island County.
Thank you. Another question for you, Bruce. How are small businesses doing? Have you heard from many of them?
Yes, definitely, and we're working closely with the Quad Cities Chamber. I think they're hurting as well. One of the things we're looking at, we have some CDBG funding. Some of that was approved through the CARES Act, and we're still waiting on some guidance from HUD, but we do anticipate being able to offer some sort of program. We're just not quite there yet, knowing how that would work, and so there's a lot of detail yet to work out, but yeah, definitely it's something that we're aware of and trying to work towards.
Thank you. And we're going to be typing Bruce's information into the chat here. Thank you, Vanessa and Janet, for that. If there's any additional questions, please type them into the chat. If not, we will conclude the meeting. Bruce, it looks like there's a general question for City of Davenport. How are city employees doing? Are many working from home, yourself, for example?
Oh, they're asking great questions. I'm not sure of the number. I do know that there are some departments in which the virtual environment is conducive, and so in my department, for example, roughly half of the staff are able to work from home, and we sort of rotate in when we're coming in. In other departments, that's not as easy to be able to work from home. So it just sort of depends.
Thank you. Is there an update on the virus peak for our metro and surrounding areas? Ed, originally, I think you had discussed, I think last week, there was something about potentially the second week of May. Is that still what you've been seeing from some of the modeling?
Looking at the most used site, or the most quoted site, Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, they're saying May 4th and 5th. But bear in mind that all models are based on assumptions, and the model is only as good as your assumptions. IHME has come under some criticism lately.
And that was for how they had reflected Iowa, correct?
No, it was for the wideness of their projections. For example, it may go from 35 to 2,000, the range. And they're receiving some criticism for the range of their projections.
Nita, have you heard anything regarding Illinois or the Rock Island portion of the Quad Cities?
I just know the governor has said they are using some different models other than the one Ed just spoke about. They are using some from Illinois with Illinois-specific data, and I think they did say anywhere between the end of the month here and middle of May that we should be peaking. But again, it's a model just like any other model.
Okay, with no additional questions, we will go ahead and conclude for today. And we do appreciate everyone's time. We appreciate Cecelia and Bruce joining us today, and we look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thanks.